If you got your hands on a new KRX4 1000, you're probably ready to install some accessories on it. Now, if you want to get some of the most popular accessories without paying the OEM prices, you're going to want to look at the Tusk Stage UTV Upgrade Kits. Now, these kits, they come in 3 different options to best suit your needs. Now, the one we're installing today is the Stage 1 kit, and that's going to come with your half windshield. This is scratch resistant. You're going to get your alloy mirrors with A-pillar mounts. And the third item depends on which KRX4 1000 you have. So if you have a standard ES model that did not come with a roof from the factory, you're going to get the profile roof. Now, if you got an SE or an ES special edition, then those came with a roof from the factory. So you're going to be getting a Cargo Barricade. In either case, you want to make sure you type in your year, make, and model on our website to get the correct kit for you. Now, with that being said, all of this stuff is easy to install. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start out in the back of the machine with the Cargo Barricade. To install that, we need to remove the 2 hooks in the back of the bed. So I've got my 12mm T-handle for that. There should be a spacer underneath this hook. You want to leave that in place. And then you have your spacer block. We're not going to use the bolt we just took out. We're going to use the longer bolt that came in the kit. And I'm going to leave that loose so we can make adjustments. We're going to do the same thing on the other side as well. After that, we're going to remove the 4 bolts in the back of the roll cage. I'm using a 17mm socket. Then we've got 2 washers that came in our kit. They're going to sit in the little groove in the back of the roll cage. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Pro tip, you can use a little bit of grease to hold these washers in place. We'll set the Cargo Barricade in place, and then we're going to use the 2 shorter bolts into those aluminum spacers we previously installed. The next step is to reinstall the roll cage mounting bolts that we previously removed. And to do that, you're probably going to have to use an alignment punch just because this roll cage is probably not going to be perfectly aligned. Once you have all the bolts loosely installed, you want to go back through and tighten everything down. To prep the roof, we need to apply some foam tape to the roll cage. So right on top here, on the cross members, we're going to start with the front. That's going to be your 40-inch foam tape gasket. Then in the middle, you've got the 46-inch piece. Now on the sides, you're going to take the 2 69-inch pieces and go all the way down. And then in the back, you're going to install the 45-inch piece. Next, we're going to set the rear section of the roof into place. And then in the back corners, we have the M8 by 25mm button head bolts. We're going to put a washer on there. We're going through the top of the roof, and then we've got an 1/8-inch spacer underneath in between the roof and the gusset. And then you're going to put the nylock nut on the back side. Now we're going to install the front section of the roof, and this is going to overlap the rear roof. Now for the middle mounts, again, we're going to use the M8 by 25mm button head bolts. We've got the washer. We're going through both sections of the roof. Then again, you have an 1/8-inch spacer. Go through the gusset in the frame, and then the nylock nut on the back side. Now for the front mounts, these are going to be the thinner bolts. So these are the M6 by 25mm button head bolts. We've got the washer on. And then on these ones, you're using the 1/4-inch spacer. And again, that's just between the roof and the gusset. And then you've got the nylock nut on the back side. Now we need to install some hardware into the middle of the roof. So we're going to use the M6 by 16 button head bolts. There's 5 of them. You're going to install a washer on there, put those through the roof, and you've got the flange nut, the nylock flange nut on the back side. Now that we have everything loosely installed, you want to adjust everything for optimal fitment and tighten all the hardware down. Now we're going to start our tightening process in the front and work our way back. The next step is to install our mirror mounts. So with the mirror mounts, they're different from the driver's side to the passenger side. So in either case, you need to make sure the bend at the top faces in towards the cab. And from here, we just need to remove the two lower A-pillar bolts. We're just using a 17mm socket to do that. Now these cages don't always line up perfect, so it can be helpful to use one of these alignment punches as you take things apart and put them together. Now to install the bracket, we're going to take the M12 by 45mm bolt. We've got our washer on there already. We're going to go through the bracket, and we've got the spacer in between the bracket and the roll cage. Now we can thread this into place, and if your cage isn't lined up, again, you can use that alignment punch. Now, pro tip for you guys, if you remove and install one bolt at a time, it's going to help keep the roll cage aligned. Now keep in mind, when you start one of the bolts, you're going to have to leave it pretty loose to still get the other bolt out. Now you do have a little bit of adjustability with this bracket, so make sure you put it in the spot that is best for your machine. Then we can tighten down our bolts and do the same steps on the other side. Now to install the mirrors, first thing you need to do is use a 5mm Allen. We're going to remove this button head bolt, and the one we're removing, we're not going to reuse that, but we do need that serrated washer. Then we're going to use the longer bolt from the A-pillar mounting kit. Set that in place. We've got our standoff or spacer. And we've got that serrated washer on the end, and we can thread this into our mirror. Now before you tighten everything down, obviously you want to align these two pieces and align the mirror where you want it. Then we're going to use a 13mm socket to snug everything down. Now you'll notice that both mirrors come with the logo in the same orientation, so you need to flip this arm for the driver's side. To do that, I'm going to use a 3/16 inch Allen. And I'll go ahead and snug it down. Then we can install the driver's side mirror the same way. To get the half windshield prepped, I've laid out a soft blanket so we don't scratch it. I'm also wearing some gloves to keep my fingerprints off of it. Then we can go ahead and remove the protective film from both sides. Now we're going to lay the windshield on its back, and we're going to install the bulb sill across the bottom. Now as you press this on, if there's any points that don't fit tight, you can pinch this together for a tighter fit. And as you can see, we have a little bit of extra on the end right here. So I'm going to use some side cutters to cut any extra off. Then we can bring this over to the machine. Now we can set the windshield in place, and just keep in mind you want that bend facing away from the cab. Next you want to install the two clamps. So we're going to wrap the strap around the roll cage, feed it through that slot, and then we've got this metal bar right here. We're going to go behind the bar, wrap that around, and I like to leave these loose and push the strap back through the slot. And then you can make your adjustments and tighten the strap down. And then we'll do the same steps for the other side. That's how you install the Tusk Stage 1 UTV Upgrade Kit on your KRX4 1000. If you need one of these kits, they're available on our website, and we offer free shipping on orders over $75. So make sure you check that out. And if you have any questions about the install process, leave those down in the comments below. Now, if you want to see more helpful content like this, subscribe to our channel. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Thanks for watching.